Hi everybody, Mrs. Nolte here. Welcome back to the art room. We have a great project for you today that I know that you're going to enjoy. So follow along with the video. We'll be doing it step by step, and when you're done, don't forget to upload it. Have fun, and we'll see you back at the art room. Today's project is going to be on making textural flowered collages. And these are going to be inspired by artist Sandrine Pellissier. Let's look at her work. It's bright and vibrant. There's texture to her pots and her flowers, and has a simplified background. I hope you enjoy her work and you enjoy our project today. So let's get started. So for today's project on texture, we're going to need a few items to start with. So you're going to need a set of crayons, a glue stick, pencil, scissors, a ruler or straight edge, some watercolor paint, a texture plate if you have them, some white copy paper, and some heavy drawing paper, and some magazine sheets or circulars, anything that's a coated paper with type and picture on it. So today's project is all about texture. Texture is how something feels when you touch it. It can be smooth, it can be rough, it can be bumpy, it can have indents. This is a texture plate which has bumps on it, and when I feel it, I can feel the indents. We're going to make a texture flower collage by making paper that has texture on it. So we're going to go around our house to see if we can find some texture. Hi, so I'm on a hunt for things that are textural that I can use to make some texture paper. So before we get started, let's talk a little bit about what texture is. Texture simply means how something feels when it's touched. If you touch a piece of marble or glass, it might be smooth or cold. Wood would feel rough. A cloth or a tapestry might feel rough or smooth. I'm looking around and I'm looking at my chair that has some texture to it on the arms. But I'm looking at my carpet first. And this texture, when I touch it, it feels rough and it has lines and bumps in it. So I think this is going to be a good surface to start with my texture rubbings. Okay, so here's my carpet, my paper, and I have my crayons that I've been walking around with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make a texture rubbing of the pattern and the texture in this carpet because I can feel it with my fingers. It has little bumps and lumps in it. So I'm going to pick a color, and this is going to be my rubbing. I'm going to lay my paper on the surface. We want to make sure we don't go to the edge of the paper because we don't want to get the crayon on whatever we're rubbing. So we're going to stay in the center. So I'm going to draw a little box in the middle, and that's as big as I'm going to go. I don't want to, you can't see that, it's not dark enough. I really don't want to go any bigger than that because I don't want to get it on my carpet. And I'm going to take one hand and hold the paper so it doesn't move around. And I'm going to push down nice and hard so that I can start to see the lumps and the bumps. I'm going to change my direction a little bit. And I'm going to fill this in because I want to see how much texture I can get. Ooh, that looks good. Takes a little while to get used to the pressure meaning how hard you push down. But I am making sure that the paper doesn't slide around, so I'm holding it down with one hand as I color in. Ooh, that looks good there. Yeah, I got it. So I'm going to hold this up a little bit. So you can see all the lumps and the bumps from my carpet. This I pushed down a little bit hard. Maybe that was a little too hard. This looks good. I like this here and here. So I'm going to keep this because this I'm going to use to make my flowers. So I'm going to keep hunting, and I'll show you a couple more, and then we'll get started. Now that we've gone around our house looking for some texture, I'm going to share with you this one. This was one that I did from my bathroom. These are the little tiles that are in my bathroom. This one here was a tree. This was the bark on the tree. This was some bricks that were outside of our house. These are also bricks. I liked it because it was kind of a bumpy texture. This is the carpet that's in my kitchen. And this is the carpet that was in my sunroom. Carpets have really good texture. And this was one of the wicker chairs that's in my sunroom. So I just had some fun going around the house, looking for different types of texture and anything that you can feel that's kind of bumpy. Oh, there's my carpet again. All right, so we're going to be using these to make our flowers today. So I thought after looking at my rubbing plates that I wanted to add a little more color to them because some of them had quite a bit of white background and I wanted them to pop a little bit. One of the ways that we can do this and still show the texture is to use watercolor paint on top of the crayon. This is referred to as a watercolor resist. And what happens is the crayons have a waxy substance to them. And when water goes on them, we all know that water and oil don't mix. So the watercolor isn't going to attach itself to the crayon. So I was looking at the different colors that I had, and I thought I would experiment with some different color combinations. So the first color that I wanted to try was a blue that was the same as the texture rubbing that I did with the crayon. And I woke up the paint, add a little water, and I did this as a very light washy covering of the watercolor. Nothing too heavy, just a very light wash. Now you see with the blue, it kind of blended in with the crayon because the colors were very similar. You can kind of see the texture, but not a lot. So I then went and decided to go with a complementary color, something to add a little more contrast to it, and I tried a little orange. We're going to wake up the paint and do a really light wash of orange, and I think that worked a lot better. It definitely had enough contrast in it. You could still see the texture, but it made an interesting combination that I thought might be nice for the flower. Finished up with the orange, and then I think I'm going to try to paint with a little bit of the yellow. Wake up the yellow. And oh, I like the yellow too. So I'm going to speed this up, but I did try a little yellow and then a little red, and these look great. Let them dry, and then you can use these for your flowers as well if you don't feel like your rubbings have enough oomph or enough contrast or enough interest, and you want to add a little extra. You can use the watercolor, which will help. I have about 8 different pieces of textured paper that I created from objects around my house. They're all in different colors, so I have a lot of variety to choose from when making my collage. Collect your materials, and then we're going to meet in the part 2 of our series on textural flower collages. See you in the next video.